Naval Trucker here. I am here today in my garage going to change the oil on our 2014 Ford Escape 1.6 EcoBoost. Yeah, it's not the easiest oil change, but it can be done. But it's a lot better than going to a dealer for 30-40 bucks to get this changed. Alright, I'm gonna attempt to show you how to do this. Alright, before I start the oil change process here, I just want to give you a little disclaimer. Again, this is, I'm doing this on my own. I will not be liable or responsible for any injuries or any injury to your body or any damages done to your vehicle. So again, just watch this as a reference or as for entertaining purposes. You don't feel comfortable or you don't have enough tools or whichever, I would take it to a place that would change your oil dealer or Walmart or whichever. Any other oil change, you need to raise the vehicle up so you can access on the engine bay. And of course, always put a chalk on the wheel. I don't have one, so I'll just use this big stone or whatever it is here just to block it. Okay, and there are 4 screws. It's a hex screw, seems like, and I'm not sure what size, or T. I'm not sure which T number this is. I'm going to do some research and put it on the note. But there are 4 of them, and this is towards the front of the vehicle, just right under it, towards the front bumper cover. So it's one here, I already took off, another one here, and another one here. Sorry about that. There you go. And they look just like this. Okay, pardon me. There are actually 7 of these screws, all the way around. 4 in the front and 3 towards the back. Okay, and there are 3 more in the back here. 1, 2, and 3. Those need to be taken out as well. And again, this is towards the back of the engine. And here are the 7 screws, the Torx or the T number. Like I said, I'll put it up on the note later. So just to give you a quick reference here, this is your passenger side wheel and brakes and CV joints assembly. And there are 2 more bolts that you have to take off. One is right here. It's holding up the tray still. Once you take off those 7 screws, there's still 2 more bolts you need to take off. These are 7mm size, so get your 7mm socket and take these 2 off, one here and one on the other side. The same location, just on the other side, on the driver's side. So your 7 Torx screws and your 7 socket or 7mm bolts. And as you can see, after that, the tray would just drop. So make sure you hold on to the tray when you take those last 2 screws out. Guess what I would do? I don't do this often. The change interval is 8-10,000 mile. So what I would do is take the front 4 Torx screw down, and then take the 2 7mm screws out of the bolt, and then take the last 3 Torx screws down. That way you can kind of go in order from front to back. It was kind of awkward for me to take the 7 out first and then the 2 middle ones, because it was kind of awkward to hold them up, but whichever way you want to do it. Okay, and here is your oil drain plug. You're going to need a size 13 socket right here, size 13, and just get it out. Just make sure you have your oil pan and all that, or the little oil catching pan before you do that, of course. And here's the engine layout from the underneath. I know it's kind of hard to see with my camera, but once you go down there, you see it. And interestingly, this is where the oil filter is. This has always been a challenge to take out because it's kind of wedged in under this hose and all that. It's not impossible, but it's just gonna, you should have a small hand and pretty a little bit of strength, twisting or torque strength. Or maybe it'd be easier to take it out with like a filter wrench or something. Okay, so I just loosened some of the pressure on there with my socket wrench. Again, it's a size 13, so lefty loosey on this one. Just gonna move this over so the oil wouldn't spill all over the driveway here. And here's the money shot, folks. I had to put the hand up right next to the drain because the oil can be unpredictable and just be spilling out everywhere. And when I, got the drain out, the oil just went to 2 different places. So just make sure you direct the pan with the oil so you don't spill it on your driveway or your clothes or whatever. So there it is, it's the oil draining out. And what I would do is just let it sit for maybe 10 minutes just to let it all drain out. Okay, and this is the top side of the tray, the engine service tray. Again, this is the top side where it's right against the engine. Of course you'd be under it when you take off the screw. So I'm just going to show you the location of the screw. Might be a little easier from this top view here. All right, so here's that Torx screw. I found out it's T30. Again, it's a T30 Torx screw or T30 screw. And there are 7 of these, okay? 1, so it will be under. So 1 here, and this is the front. This is towards the bumper of the vehicle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And this is towards the back of the engine. So you have to take 7 of these. And like I said, I would suggest to take 4 first, the front 4. And then you're gonna have 2 of these 7mm bolt, and they go again right next to the shaft, the engine, the drive shafts, passenger and driver side, and they go right there. 1, 2. So 4 in the front. Take out the T30 screws out first. Then I would take the 7mm screws out next, and then the last 3 of the T30 screws. That way, the front will drop, then the middle will drop, and then the back will drop. All right. Okay, and of course, before you perform the oil change, just make sure you have everything you need. That way, you don't have to, stop in the middle and then go to the store and get all that. That waste your time. So of course, I need the flashlights. Again, these are the 7mm screws. These are the T30 Torx screw, and this is a T30 Torx bit, and I have a screwdriver here that I can just put it in there. I'm sure there are very many variations, and I have here for my 7mm socket, or this 7mm socket for the 7mm screw or bolt, and this one is for the oil drain plug, and this is size 13 socket. Okay, of course you're going to need this the filter. It's a FL910S, and it's a the Ford part. With this I'm just going to use the Ford part. It costs $360 or something at a Walmart, so I mean it's not more or less expensive than anything. And I'm using this synthetic blend motor oil 5W30 according to the manual, and this one is about $19, 18 something, almost 19. So, and I usually use Walmart on other vehicles. I just use Walmart oil, $11, $12, but this one pay a little bit more, so it's not a big deal. All right. So now that the oil is slowly dripping, I usually just plug it back in, so I will drain out the filter next. Just to, I'm sure there'll be tons of oil out of the filter. So, like I said, I'll go ahead and plug this back in for now, loosely, just to stop the dripping here. Okay, and here comes the least favorite part of me changing the oil on this vehicle, is changing the filter. I'm not gonna be able to do this at while filming. It's probably gonna have to struggle with it for a little bit. Sometimes better than other, but this time, with all that wiring and hoses and all kinds of stuff. And what I would do is prepping up the area by just cover all these up with some towel or something. That way you don't have all kinds of oil over it, or least amount of oil possible. And of course you're gonna have to put the oil drain pan right under it, so the oil will just be caught inside the pan. But like I said, it's gonna be messy, and I can't do this with one hand. All right, sorry about that. Okay, so again, I'm underneath, and I'm gonna remove this clockwise, lefty loosey, righty tighty. So but from the back, I'm turning it right. But if you're doing this from the front, you will be doing it towards your left hand. All right, hope that's not confusing. All right, I'm gonna have to turn this off so I can get the oil. Probably gonna be messy. All right, just loosen it up just a little. Oh, there you go. Loosen it up just a little bit. Let the oil drain out. I used to just take it out right away, but that would creates a lot of mess. So just let it drain out a little bit and then pull it out. You pull out all the oil, it'll just drain out, so just be careful. You want to maintain your working area, make it as clean as possible. But sometimes you can't help it. You're just gonna have to let it go and clean up. All right, and here's that old the used oil filter. So if you let it drain first, then you wouldn't have a lot of mess to deal with. And all you gotta do is just clean up that right there. Here's a brand new one, clean. Well, that's from me touching it. But what I like to do is put some of the oil, the old oil, just won't let it drip on the new filter, around the seal, around the screws part and all that. And I think it makes it easier for you to take out next time, or at least it will lubricate the seal here, and it wouldn't be dried out the next time you take it out. I'm not sure that's true or not, but that's what I like to do. All right, I just snake my way in to put the filter back on, and it's gonna be the reverse order. I don't know if you see that white. See that I'm spinning it right now. So make sure you put it on, put it on the right spot, and you're going to twist it from the back of the vehicle, from where you're working on. You're going to go left, so counterclockwise. All right, but from the front view of it, it would be clockwise. So again, from the front of it, it'll be righty tighty, but from behind it would be left. So I just make sure you position it correctly, that everything lines up before you start screwing it in. Otherwise, you may damage the filter and the other components. Some soap towel with some soap on it. Just gonna clean up the oil area, and I tightened it up, the filter right there, and I didn't over tighten it. And the specification on how much torque you need to tighten that. I don't have a torque wrench or anything. Well, I do, but I don't have one. I don't have a adapter for the filter itself, so I'm not able to do that. But I wouldn't over tighten it. Just tighten it enough. Just hand tighten it, and that way next time you have to take it off, you wouldn't take so much effort to take it out. I'm gonna go back to the oil pan, and I'm just going to unplug it again and get the rest of the oil out. Oh, there you go. So there'll be some left. Just let it drain for a little bit. Okay, I wouldn't waste time to let everything drain out, every last drop. I just clean up the area a little bit there, or I'll clean up in a little bit here, and lube up your bolt before you put it in, and then just put it back in. Again, this is a size 13 socket that you're going to need. Right, again, lefty loosey, righty tighty. So I'm twisting this to the right, so I'm right in front of it, so of course it's going to be the right. And I have a torque, um, wrench, I'm not gonna use. I'm just gonna hand tighten it, not to over tighten it. Okay, I hand tighten it. It's nice and tight, and just clean up everything that you have before you put the service tray back. Just make sure that everything looks okay, that you didn't knock anything, you didn't disconnect any wiring or hoses. So just check on that before you do that, because it's PITA to get access to this under the engine. So take your time, don't rush. Just make sure everything looks good and not, you didn't damage anything, because like I said, it takes a little bit of effort to get into its places here. Make sure your shafts are good, nothing's leaking, no crack, no wear, no cut, no whatever. Put the screws in, and now I'm just gonna tighten up. It's been helpful for me to just put the 4 of the 7 around the corners first, and then just work your way there. That way we'll hold up everything for you. So I have one here. Oh, it's dark. One right there. One right there. And one right there. The 4 corners. Then just go and put the rest of them in. Not any good angle here, but the service tray has been assembled back. Make sure don't over tighten the bolts, because you're going to eat away the thread on the screw. I did that on one of these already before. So just make sure everything's nice and tight, that you don't lose anything. Alright, here comes my favorite part of all, is putting the liquid gold here into that right there. Oh, you probably can't see it, but okay, so this is a 5-quart bottle, 4.73 liter, and you need 4.3 quarts of oil. And again, this one comes in 5 or 4.1 liter, so about 4 liter. So I would probably stop at the 1 quart mark and then go from there and check the dipstick. Make sure, you can probably go all the way to half of quart left. But I'll just stop at the 1 quart line and go from there and check the dipstick and make sure that we don't overfill it. And since the opening of the oil cap, or the oil where you put the oil in, it's not lined up with, the funnel won't line up correctly. As you can see, there's an angle, so you're gonna have to push it in a little bit. Unless you have one of those funnel with the hose, with the flexible hose, that will work better. But I'm gonna have to hold the funnel and the bottle at the same time. Just make sure you don't, there's no oil escaping from the funnel. And again, I just left about a quart of oil left, about a quarter of a liter of oil left, and I looked at the dipstick, it looks fine. And maybe when the vehicle is leveled, I might need to add some more. Alright, again, we're almost done here. The next thing we need to do is reset the reminder, the oil change reminder. Per manual, turn the key on to the on position, and then press both accelerator and brake pedals at the same time for 3 seconds, and then a message will appear. Okay, and this reset is in program, and it says it takes about 25 seconds for it to complete. Alright, of course you're not going to have to watch this part all the way, but okay, and it's complete, and then you can just turn off. Right? Alright, so there you have it. That's the conclusion of the oil change on this 2014 Ford Escape with 1.6 liter EcoBoost engine. I've changed car oil on, I'll say 3-4 different kinds of car in my lifetime here, and I'll say this is probably the most involved one. It takes a little bit a little bit more difficult than the others. I think especially with the with where the oil filter is, it's a little strange. On other cars, it's right under the vehicle or right on top of the engine. But it's doable. But it's gonna take some time. You haven't changed oil before, and it's your first one. Then it may be a little challenging to you. I'm not a master or a master in any by any means, but I've done this several times. I haven't gotten oil change at other place at an oil change place for many years now. I've always done my own. I like doing it my own. So this one took a little time, but you don't have to change it according to the schedule on the manual. It says you don't need to change it for a while, for 10,000 miles or the whole year. But I change it maybe 8 or 9,000 miles and change it. All right, and again, a little disclaimer here. This is for entertaining or reference purposes only, and I will not be responsible for any damages or any injury that may come across on your oil change. Again, you don't feel comfortable, don't do it. Again, I'm not going to be responsible for for the oil change or any injury. This is for your own entertaining, for your own information. For your entertaining purposes, for your information. You don't feel like doing it, then just go to a dealer or the oil change for them to do it for you. All right, again, do not do it. You don't feel comfortable. I'm not going to be liable for it. All right, thank you for watching. Stay blessed, thankful, and thankful. Bye.